I could write a book about you. But from the bottom of my heart, thank you for giving Willie Kimani a befitting burial on 9th July 2016. Thank you for ensuring we have a roof over our heads so that we do not feel the scorching sun or cold at night. Thank you for the counseling sessions which helped us cope with the death of Willie. Thank you for walking with us through the corridors of justice, and not a single day did you give up until we got justice. Our special thanks on behalf of Willie Kimani's family, Senior Counsel Ojambo, who represented the families without asking for any paycheck. LSK representatives, Professor Sihanya, Senior Counsel Ongaro, and IJM representative Janice Mushemi. We thank you all so much. I also want to thank these two special people, John Kangede and Pamela Masakwi. These two are family members. They are only a call away. They have given us a shoulder to lean on. They are our counselors, and may our good Lord keep and preserve them for us. President Gary Hogan, thank you for leading an army or battalion until all are free. IJM Kenya team, Willie Kimani was blessed to have you as his friends and colleagues. IJM is not just about work, but using the Holy Spirit as an advocate for the less trodden in our society in terms of justice. Now, on way forward, Castro says when he grows up, he wants to become a policeman. His brother says, Patterson, he wants to become an investigator, and he's been saying that since he was 4 years old. Willie Kimani's family got justice. We hope other families do not have to experience long years searching for justice. I hope the judiciary will hasten the wheels of justice process. Being a policeman is a noble profession. The government should ensure our policemen have continuous professional training to remind them they are not above the law. Thank you so much for listening to me, and thank you for honoring Willie today.
Thank you so much, Hannah. That is an awesome speech, inspiring us to continue fighting tirelessly until no individual has to live in fear of those who should protect them. I would like now to invite Rebecca on stage to say a few words. Please give her a clap.
Good morning everyone. Jina naitwa Rebecca Wanja Mwendwa. Ni mimi nilikuwa bibi wa the late Josephat Mwenda. Mimi kwangu kwanza ni kumshukuru Mungu kwa kunifikisha hii masaa. Si kawaida. Tena nasema ni asanti kwa sababu hii safari tulikuwa nayo haikuwa rahisi. Ilikuwa ngumu sana. Lakini juu Mungu alikuwa mbele yetu, tumepambana nayo na tumefika mwisho. Nashukuru Mungu sana kwa hiyo. Tena nashukuru IGM na Witness Protection, wametusaidia sana. Kwanza kimawaidha, wamenisaidia sana. Mimi hata sikuwa najua kama tutawaimaliza hiyo kesi juu kutoka wakati tulianza nilikuwa na wakati mgumu sana. Lakini juu IGM imenisaidia sana juu walikuwa wananitia nguvu. Mtu kama Pamela alikuwa ananiambia nisijali hata kama itachukua muda mrefu, itafika mahali tu na tutamaliza. Nafikiria IGM hiyo organization yenye mko nayo inasaidia watu wengi sana. Juu tuliendelea tukapata amani, tukapata haki yetu, na nafikiria Tanjos party pali yako wanafurahia wakiwa na hao wengine na wenzake. Wanafurahia na nafikiria they will rest in peace. Tena ningeomba tu hii polisi, hii mambo wanakuanga nayo kushika mtu, wakiwashika wanawaua, wasifanyange hivyo. Hata kama mtu kuna ile makosa kikundi yenu ni mzuri, yani hiyo nini hiyo amani niko nayo, muendelea nayo tu kusaidia watu juu tuko wengi, si sisi tu, najua tuko wengi sana wenye wako huko nje yani hawajui kama wataweza. Muendelee tu na hiyo amani. Asante.
Asante sana Rebecca. Natumaini sisi wote tumesikia wito wako. Next on stage I would like to invite Paul.
Habari zenu. Mimi naitwa Paul Karuda Muiruri. Hebu tusaidiane kidogo.
Paul will be speaking in French and I shall translate.
Jitagwa Paul Karuda Muiruri.
My name is Paul Karunda Muiruri.
Na de brother ya Ushitagwa Muiruri.
And I am brother to Muiruri.
Na wabere ni gatho ingicokia nyingi muno kwi Ngai.
First of all, I would like to say thank you to God.
Ni tondu haria tumite na haria tukinyite turoga ni Ngai.
Because where we have come from and where we are now, we can only say it's God.
Ni tukenete muno ni undu wa IGM.
We are so pleased with IJM.
Ni undu wa uria matunyitiriire.
Because of how you have supported us.
Ni tumite haraya.
We've come from far.
Kuma riria twagwire moko-ini mari oru.
From the day those bad things befell us. There is not one time you have left us on our own. You have supported us well. Because our child, when he died, he was the last born. He had no child. We are troubled in our hearts. Because there is nothing of him we have to remember. But we are grateful to God because we have received justice. Secondly, I would not fail to say thank you to Kenyans. Because they have kept praying for us since that incident happened. So I would like to say God bless you. With those few remarks, I wouldn't say a lot. And because I know there are others going through the same problems, I would ask you as Kenyans to continue praying for them so that they can find justice the way we have found justice. May God bless you. Thank you so much, Paul. At this juncture, I would like to ask all the family members for Willie, Josephat, and Muiruri, who are represented here, to please stand up so that we can recognize your presence.
A clap for them. Because we love honoring survivors, probably they can just say the name, who they were.
Good morning. My name is Helen Jenga. Thank you. Mimi ni Bibi Njenga.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Grace, Sister to Lily.
Good morning. Niye ni nyina wa Kimani.
I am Kimani's mom. I am Willie Kimani's mom.
Ni gucokeria Ngai ngatho ni tondu wa hava tukinyithitie na kahe hinya wa kuhota kurugama uguo na tukanyitirirwo na mahoya.
I would like to say thank you to God for this far we have come, that I'm able to stand here and the way you have supported us with prayers.
Ngai atwe hinya na nigetha kiundu kiu gigatuthiranga riria mundu akauma thino tondu riri ndu ingihota kuga no kwira Ngai thengio muno ni tondu ni makionekio.
May God give us strength so that we can be able to recover from this incident.
Thank you. We'll not ask Willie's dad to speak because he's not in a good shape. Continue praying for him. He's here. This is Willie's dad.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Edward Mugabi, brother to Mwenda.
Yes, thank you for that session. Let's clap for the survivors of this. And I know here we have more survivors of police abuse of power from Kenya Champions of Justice. Inueni mikono watu wa Kenya Champions of Justice. Pali mko. All those are survivors that have gone through very difficult things. Some of them have lost their relatives. Some of them have gone through police brutality. And we are so glad that they are here. So right now I want to invite Mr. Benson Shamala. Mr. Benson Shamala, who is the Country Director, International Justice Mission, to give opening remarks and invite all of us.
Good morning. Seven years like today, it was a Thursday, and our colleague Willie Kimani, our client Joseph Mwenda, and our trusted taxi driver Joseph Miruri, early in the morning, they took off to go to Mavoko Court. They did not make it back. And so today we come to remember. Today we come to reflect. Today we come to rededicate ourselves as human beings. We've had the pain of the family, and it's not just a one-day pain. It has been a continuous pain. It has been a journey not only to pursue justice in our criminal justice system, but it has been a journey toward healing. And both the families and even staff at International Justice Mission, we are at different stages of that particular journey. And we believe that, God willing, we will be able to reach a time whereby we can look back without shedding tears. That's our prayer. And so I want to really thank each and every one of you for coming to commemorate with us. International Justice Mission works together alongside government agencies to protect people from violence. In Kenya here we started in 2001, and we have been taking up cases where police, law enforcement have injured, maimed, or killed people, and we represent them in court to find justice. Many people saw like, how come we don't know about RJM? I think the case of Willie Kimani, Josephat, and Joseph brought to us who we are. And it's not only the case of Willie Kimani. We have got several other cases that we are representing, families, just like the families of Willie, Joseph, and Josephat, Currently, we have got 74 cases that are active where police have used excess force to either injure or to kill Kenyans. And we continue pursuing justice for those cases. So today we said we'll come together to remember. We'll come together to reflect. We'll come together to hear from the survivors, because many times the survivors are left out. We don't know the journey that they take. Today we come together to rededicate ourselves to the ideals of justice and fairness. And I just want to appreciate each one of you. I just mentioned some of the members that are here. We have the President of the Law Society of Kenya, Mr. Deuri. Thank you so much for coming, together with the Vice President, Faith Odhiambo. We also have the Director of Witness Protection, Agent. Thank you so much. And as Rebecca said, you played a critical role to the success of this case. All these years, and you never wavered, together with your prosecution team. Thank you so much, Dr. Senior Counsel, who is also present with us, Fred Ojambo. Thank you so much. Different agencies that worked together. I know we'll be taking time just to call you out and just appreciate and say thank you. We are IPOA, Independent Policing Oversight Authority, for the role that you played in this. So thank you so much. We'll be acknowledging more people as they come. Lee Fang from OHCR. Thank you so much, Madam, for honoring this. We have got representative from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution. Thank you so much. Professor Sihanya, thank you, sir, because you stood with this family without even requesting any single cent. Thank you. And so I would just want to say you're welcome to this. We have got people from Internal Affairs Unit who worked. And as I continue mentioning, civil societies from Amnesty, IMLU, Police Reform Working Group, Missing Voices will be acknowledging you as we go by. I just want to say thank you for walking this journey. Allow me to, in my final remarks, to quote what Abraham Lincoln said in a very short speech that he delivered on November 19th, 1863, when he was called upon to dedicate a portion where the soldiers who had fallen to be buried. And so I will not read the whole speech, but just a section of that particular speech, which says, "We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who gave their lives that the nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a large sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it, far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will no longer remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here." You can paraphrase that and say, we will never forget what Willie, Joseph, and Josephat did and stood for. It is for us, the living, Lincoln continued to say, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they fought here, have thus so far notably advanced. It is rather for us be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from this honored dead we take the increased devotion to that cause for which they gave their last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that this dead shall not have died in vain. And that has been our rallying call at International Justice Mission, that the death of Willie, Joseph, and Josephat will never be in vain, that it will never be in vain. So thank you so much for your coming again. and we look forward to having discussion, deliberation, and reflection on what this case means to us, not only as institutions represented here, but as Kenyans and as humanity. What does that mean to us? And what kind of people ought we be in such a experience that we have seen for 7 good years as the case went on in the public? So thank you so much, and God bless you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Benson, for welcoming us, all our visitors. I think we'll still have a chance to just honor all of our visitors by name later on. So right now, I want to take this opportunity to welcome one coalition that was formed after Mavoko 3 happened. I want to invite Dimas Kipronov, who is representing the Missing Voices Coalition, to give his remarks. Welcome, Dimas.
Thank you very much. I'd like to adapt the protocols as if they were established in the first place. The Missing Voices Coalition was created as the source of truth in terms of statistics, in terms of the stories, in terms of the names of the people who have suffered from extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearances. Before Missing Voices, all organizations had their numbers. IMLU had their numbers, Amnesty International had their numbers, Human Rights Watch, for example, had their numbers, and it was difficult for us as a sector to basically paint the picture of the situation in Kenya in terms of extrajudicial killings. And so together, as the Police Reform Working Group, more than 21 organizations, decided that we needed one source of truth where we would have researchers, fact checkers, so that any case of extrajudicial killings, enforced disappearances would be investigated, researched, and documented. And over the years, we have seen, first of all, a difference in terms of when we speak as a sector, we have the same numbers and figures that we are talking about. More so, the Missing Voices Coalition runs a website, and I would urge you to perhaps look at that website, that also tells the stories, the different stories of the various victims and survivors. So far, what is emerging for us is that one of the stories right now is that it takes too long. Even when an officer is charged, it takes at least 5 or 6 years for the case to be concluded. And we are wondering whether we can urge the judiciary to prioritize cases where police officers are the persons charged, especially for things as serious as murder, as was the case with Willie and his colleagues. The Missing Voices over the years has held community dialogues, bringing together the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, bringing together the DCI, bringing together communities so that we can discuss the issues of unlawful policing, the use of force and firearms, the corruption within our National Police Service. And we hope that by our activities that we can be able to move the needle into, first of all, getting a police service that is professional, accountable, and that is human rights compliant. Today, as the Missing Voices, we'd like to recognize the contributions of the DPP, of the Witness Protection Agency, of the judiciary itself, of our partners, our development partners, and others who have stood with us in terms of trying to get justice for the families and for the victims of unlawful policing. The Willie Kimani case shows us how a person seeking justice can be victimized, and in that process, that person also extends that danger to their counsel. And then there is the taxi driver who really had nothing to do with anything that was happening. And so the dangers of unlawful policing, of corruption within our National Police Service affects us all. Doesn't matter where you are. I'd like to especially mention the lawyers in this case, with the senior counsels here and the Director of Public Prosecutions, who stood with these families, and eventually justice was served. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for those remarks. Onto the stage, would like to invite the lovely Isabella to give some remarks from our Police Reforms Working Group.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. The Chief Justice's Office, IJM's Regional President, IJM's Country Director, and your able team, all state agencies in this room, law society officials and senior counsel, development partners, civil society organizations, the family of the Mavuko 3, and all other survivors, all protocols observed, good morning again. This is not the easiest to do, but we move on. We move. Mr. Peter Kiama could not be here today, and he sent me his regards. He said that I say hi to everyone here, and he also gave me his message, which I will read as follows. Today, we join in the celebration and thanksgiving for the journey that has been. We give thanks as we close a chapter of one of the most heinous extrajudicial executions of our time. We jubilate that justice was seen to be done for the murders of lawyer and human rights defender Willie Kimani, his client Joseph Mwenda, and their driver, Joseph Mwiruri. We believe that the journey not only brought to the fore the dark abyss of police criminality in Kenya, but it has also reaffirmed the power of law in affirming fundamental human rights and security of the person. With the judgment, we believe that we are on the right path to promoting police accountability in this country. This 7-year journey has brought tremendous gains to our criminal justice jurisprudence, especially against all institutionalization of extrajudicial executions. We, as the Police Reforms Working Group, remain steadfast in partnering and collaborating towards an enhanced criminal justice system and the respect for fundamental human rights, especially the security of the person. May justice be our shield and defender. I thank you all.
Thank you, Isabella. Another clap for these fighters of justice from the civil society organizations. Indeed, we must say from day one, the civil society was there on the streets. They carried placards and all then I was a journalist. I was just watching from the other side of things, but definitely I saw what you did. Right now, I want to invite Senior Counsel, Dr. Fredo Jambo, who was the lead victims counsel in this case. Karibu sana, Senior Counsel. Makofi kwa Prof.
Thank you very much for that introduction. I don't intend to go through the protocol that has been mentioned before, but to recognize all who are here, and particularly those who are victims of police brutality. As a lawyer, ever since I became a lawyer, a young lawyer, that I spent a lot of time in police stations and going after my clients, try to get them out, and I came across a lot of things that were horrible. Because when a police force acts like a gang, then the public are in danger. But it's not just that. I've realized that there are very, very good police people. Clement Mwangi is a very good example, and he's with his many policemen who investigated this matter and stood firm. Let's not just assume that they did their job. It was difficult for them. These men sitting here, it was difficult for them because they were running against a cabal of people who think differently and who think of other people as simple cannon fodder. Those are expendables. When the death of Willie, Josephat, and Joseph, I didn't actually know about it until I got a call from the then president of the Law Society. And he said to me, do you know that there's 3 men have been murdered apparently by policemen? Do you know anything about it? And I said, no, I didn't know anything about it. Well, he told me about it. And he said that they were going to have a march. And I said to him, well, I'll come round and see what I could do. So I joined the march. And I remember walking all the way from the post office down this way up to the where the Supreme Court is now. And as I walked through, my heart was filled with anger. I was truly angry that anyone could do this to anyone else, from what I had heard. That God has made us who we are so that we can look after each other. But when we then treat others as if they were simply items without any worth, then there is something truly satanic about us. And by the time I got to the Supreme Court building, I was very angry. And I think somebody came and said, would you like to say something? And I was very emotional about it. In fact, as emotional as I am now, listening to Willie Kimani's widow speak today, I felt a bit like Willie Kimani's father. And I think the 7 years that we've had with this case was a time for reflection for me. And I'm sure, I would hope so, certainly, that it is a reflection for all of us. That we would realize that each one of us has a responsibility not only to look after those around us, but to confront any evil of this nature, and particularly to confront those who abuse the public trust and public power in this way, and stand up as many of you have stood up. And I thank the IJM for the way in which they have stood up for those who are voiceless, for those who do not have the wherewithal to stand up, those whom the society looks at as if they were just expendable. So it was actually my privilege when I was asked, I didn't ask to be involved in this, but when I was asked to take part in it, I thought it was my greatest privilege to be involved to the extent that I was, in the small way that I was. I really want to thank, first of all, I really want to thank those police officers who investigated this matter and stood firm. Thank you. Thank you. And those who are able and willing to come and give evidence in court. Let's not trivialize this. It's not as easy as it seems. But they stood and did it. And I personally really want to thank them for it. And I also want to thank those who are willing to come and give evidence. Those who, I'm sure, who didn't have the same kind of defense or protection that most of us would have, but they came and they gave evidence. And because of that evidence, we saw justice done. And I just also want to thank you for all of you in IJM who are willing to follow this tenaciously to the time that we've got to today. So I really want to thank God for the opportunity just to be here to celebrate and commemorate these three men who died ruthlessly and needlessly just because somebody abused power. And I would also like to thank the prosecution for the way in which they also went to this. Nicholas Mutuku really did a brilliant job. And he stood and worked, and with his team did a marvelous job. So thank you, Nicholas. So it's really my privilege and my joy to have been asked to be here. I wouldn't have asked for anything less. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Jambo. And one of our values at International Justice Mission is relentless. We say we are relentless. And thank you for just repeating that in this area. So right now, it's my honor to invite a man who has been in the corridor of justice fighting for this case from the prosecution side for 7 years. And this is Mr. Mutuku. Karibu sana. Makofi kwa Mr. Mutuku.
Good morning, everybody. All protocols observed. Allow me to use that because I cannot mention everybody. I would like, first of all, to state saying by that this is my first time to attend this commemoration. I believe to the 7th one. I was not invited in the 1st to the 6th. But I think it was deliberate and well intended. I was the lead prosecutor in this matter. Commemorations are very emotional. They are emotive affairs. And IGM chose to separate me from this kind of emotion. they wanted me to work and deliver. And I thank you for that. Indeed, when Betty Wambua called me this week and told me there is this event, I was asking myself, why now? But I soon realized that it was for the interest of me to work and to avoid coming until this time. And this is a proper time to be with you here to not only commemorate Will Kimani and the other fallen heroes, also to mourn them, because I wasn't there earlier. It was very difficult in 2016, as you are aware, and we started with the habeas corpus. I was the deputy DPP, and I was thrown into the mix of it. I met councils with ribbons. The three had not been discovered, and there was a lot of pressure to work on that habeas corpus and defend it. But we did our work, and I must say that we got a lot of support from the lawyers on our side, and I must thank them. So I would say, ladies and gentlemen, that today we gather here united in both the grief and remembrance to honor the life and the legacy of our esteemed colleague, Will Kimani. And the other two, Josephat Mwenda and Joseph Mwiruli. These three did not deserve to die. Indeed, Will Kimani and Joseph Mwiruli were collateral. Not that Joseph Mwenda deserved to die. No, not at all. 7 years ago, I would say we suffered a great loss when they were brutally taken from us, be victims of senseless violence. Willie was diligently serving the cause of justice, which he verily believed in. Today we remember his indomitable spirit and sacrifices made in the pursuit of truth. As the lead prosecutor assigned on this case, and I wish to mention that I didn't work alone. I had Alois Kemo, Catherine Mwaniki, and Betty Rubia, who worked with me initially. Alois Kemo and Catherine Mwaniki dropped. I was left with Rubia, whom we pursued this matter to the end. So we stand before you with a heavy heart, burdened by the weight of the responsibility I assumed in seeking justice for our fallen comrade. We faced an arduous journey filled with challenges and obstacles, but we remained steadfast in our pursuit of truth and accountability. It is a testament to the unwavering commitment of our legal fraternity that we brought the rogue police officers responsible for this heinous act to face the consequences of their actions. Willie was not just a lawyer, he was a friend. I knew him. He was pursuing another matter before this happened. For those who know our injustice sector, criminal justice sector, they know the Ruaraka OCS, Mr. Mutua, whose case was also concluded, and Will Kimani was on it. I worked at that time as a deputy DPP in charge of offense against the person, and this matter was on my desk, and we worked together. He was again a beacon of justice, a tireless advocate for the marginalized and voiceless, and a guardian of the rule of law. I would say he fought fearlessly against corruption, inequality, and abuse of power and police power. His work was a testament to the noble ideas that underpin our legal system: fairness, integrity, and the pursuit of truth and justice. Today, we not only remember his remarkable contributions, but we also recommit ourselves to the principles he held dear. We must continue to fight against justice, standing up against those who abuse their authority and ensuring that no one is above the law. Let us draw the strength from his memory and use it as a catalyst for change, inspiring us to create a society where justice prevails. As we gather here, let us remember that Willie's legacy is not confined to a single tragedy, but rather it lives on through each one of us. We carry the responsibility to protect the rights of the people we serve, to defend the vulnerable, and to never waver in the face of adversity. We owe it to him to continue the work he started, to remain relentless in our pursuit of justice, and to ensure that this sacrifice was not in vain. To the family of the Mafoko 3, to the wife of Willie Kimani, to the father Willie Kimani, the mother, brother of Mwiruri, and the wife of Mwenda, the 3 fallen heroes, know that we are not alone. You are not alone in your grief. We stand beside you, offering our unwavering support and heartfelt condolences. Your loved ones will forever be remembered as heroes, and more particularly the legacy left by Willie, which will continue to inspire us as we strive for more just and equitable society. I just want at this point to pause here and address an issue that has been raised by the Willie Kimani's window. The victims of crime deserve speedy justice. 7 years, Mzee Kimani came to court and the other relatives of the victims and sit there and listen. But I feel we didn't have to go through that. I'll give you a small breakdown to underscore this. In 2016, we had 13 appearances before court. I mean, the days we appeared before court and did business. 2017, there were about 43 appearances. 2018, we had the least, 7 appearances. 2019, we had 32 appearances. 2010, despite the corona pandemic, we had 22 appearances. In 2021, we did a lot, and we had 4 appearances. 2022, we had 4, and this year we had 3, until the sentence was read. But that one comes only to 164 working days. I want to take you down to this calculation. 1 year has 365 days and 52 weeks. Courts, and the court we worked before, they work from Monday to Thursday. Those are 4 days per week. So for 164 days, if you calculate the number of days, the number of months the court